Arsenal beat Real Madrid in what was a monumental result for the Gunners to give them a brilliant victory to the semi-final. Now, while a lot of players have already got their praise, it is time to talk about Jurrien Timber, who yet again locked out Vini Jr. like he did in that first leg to cement himself as one of the best fullbacks in the world. But how has he done that? Let's get into it. Now, I think it would be a disservice to not do one video about Jurrien Timber over the two legs against Real Madrid. Not only I think has he been the outstanding player in defensive areas out of the two teams, I think he's also been out and out one of the best fullbacks in the world the last year for Arsenal and is finally getting the recognition that he deserves. And this game proved it. Now, straight away, this is a type of game that Jurrien Timber definitely thrives on. Arsenal weren't exactly in a low block the entire time. They did press up a few times as well, but we mostly played in a deeper position to not allow Real Madrid to get through. This meant that Timber basically only had to focus on defending in 1v1 situations, which he thrives at, and being out in them wide areas. And while he had to have good positioning and stay in line with the team, that is all something you expect with Jurrien Timber compared to that attacking force that we have seen from him in the past, which has had to be needed. However, despite Arsenal not having the ball possession wise an entire lot, they did definitely try to be effective with the ball pushing up the pitch. They created a good amount of chances. If you look on the average positions of the two fullbacks, they were pushed up, so they were being brave on the ball and getting into good positions. And Jurrien Timber really encapsulates that within the squad. Now, in this game, Jurrien Timber's defending was incredible, but it was more his engagement of trying to get to that ball and knowing when to engage and get to that trigger of Real Madrid trying to take the ball away and knowing when to actually be able to make them tackles to get the ball from them. There is a great move in the first half where Jurrien Timber is pushed right up and Arsenal try to create an attack that doesn't quite happen, but then when it gets headed out, Jurrien Timber is there to tackle them on the break and make sure Arsenal could have it, where Saka has a shot which hits it wide. This really helps because a lot of Real Madrid's system in this game from an attacking perspective was to cross the ball in and hope for second balls at the edge of the box, which we didn't give them. Now, we actually also have that method in play with Timber pushing up and Odegaard as well, but also it helps Timber stop that counter early, and it really is something that he is really good at because his recovery time can get back even if they go past him, and it was proven in this game with the brilliant tackles that he did. Now, Jurrien Timber in a 1v1 is probably one of the best players in the world, definitely from wide areas. It's something we've spoken about a lot of people have, and it is definitely true. In this game, when Vini Jr. was forced to pick the ball up outside the block, so very wide, you can talk about the fact there's not many options in the box, so Vini is looking mostly to shoot or get past Timber to get into a good area. Now, what was interesting in this game is that Timber, when he defends one-on-one, there's a reason why he's specifically so good at it. I think his pace and his strength are big reasons, but he's got a lot of intelligence. He sort of has this style where he sets off them about a foot so the other player can't create that separation because it's already there, and he almost goes early. He makes his decisions early if he's going to go back or forward to defend someone, and when players are trying to shift past him and go past him with pace, he's often quick enough and already aware to get past them and block that cross coming in. Now, the reason why he is so good at this is because when he commits, he can also stick a foot out to get the other way if the player stops their run. We saw this against PSG when Barcola almost goes past him, I think it was, and he sticks out a foot and does a brilliant tackle when he made that wrong decision at the first front, and it makes Timber a very flexible player in these positions. And Timber overall is one of the perfect players you want in these areas because as a defender one-on-one, he just never seems to make the wrong decisions that much, but he also has the qualities to stay in the game. He can hold up with any winger in the world and even any forward. He is really strong even for his body. He is much stronger and uses his body well with the ball, and there's many times as well where you see him in much more aggressive positions because he's kind of playing to where the winger is and making sure he can't get them gaps, and he will come forward and then make tackles from other players running at him. He's very stern on his feet and makes the decisions well, and he almost always gets tackles right. His timing is impeccable, which is just such a brilliant talent that he has. Now, not only defensively is the recoveries a massive thing as well with Timber, where he can run back pretty much seamlessly, and when teams are counter-attacking, Arsenal's whole logic is to delay, and then wait for players to come back, and Timber is a brilliant player for the reason of that. He usually goes into more attacking positions, or at least more elevated positions up the pitch. This is to create, this is to do other things with the ball because he's also great at them things as well. When Arsenal have breaks upon them, and we have one in this game game with Kivior. We delay it and delay it and delay it for Timber to get back, which basically puts Vinny out of the game. As soon as he's back, there's other players there as well who work tremendously hard, and Timber's able to be calm and patient and win the ball back, which makes him such an effective player because he works really hard as well. Because he is from the Ajax Academy, there's always going to be a part of his play where he is incredible on the ball. Now, we've spoken about the attacking work in the past not really necessarily being something he is focused on, and he has definitely got better, but in this game he didn't really have to underlap or overlap that often, given the fact that Real Madrid, we were wary of them trying to break through us, and obviously 3-0 lead, we didn't exactly have to go for it. But the thing that really stands out for me is maybe how he uses his body. You could say it's part of that sort of system, but it's just how good he is on the ball in certain situations in tight areas. There's many times that he'll pick the ball up late on the byline of the pitch, and he's able just to dummy with it, go past players, and he's got such a great dribbling level where, given his height, given the stature of him, and given how powerful he is, it just makes him technically so good. He can go past players really well. There's a few times where he actually tries to push forward, and he's just a brute player. He just goes through tackles, rides them, and gets positions into the box which help create. And this game, I thought like he didn't do it a lot, but when he does, he is still that strongest player compared to a lot of the Real Madrid fullbacks that they had. Alaba and Vasquez could not keep up with it. And in many ways, Jurrien Timber is starting to turn a little bit into Woklz. I think both of them, quite often you're going to see similarities in their game. They're not the same player entirely, but there is definitely some similarities in how they play, with how they're on the ball and how stern they are. But Woklz is a lot more of a runner than a passer, and Timber's a little bit more of a passer than a runner. Now in this game, however, Timber has really started to pick up that running abilities. We've seen it a few times this season where he's ran into that midfield and just thought, I'm going to go for this, and they can't stop him because he's got that brilliant pace and that brilliant ability to keep the ball. In this game he did it as well. When he doesn't think that Vinny is going to go for him or Bellingham's going to track him, he just makes that run into that midfield. It allows people like Odegaard to get further forward outside the block where he can pass it into him, and it does help the progression on that right hand side, which is not something we've overall been doing a lot in the last few games, which I think is good. I think Saka shouldn't have to have all that progression. I think he is self-sustainable by himself, and I like the left side being a little bit more attacking and free flowing, and the right side being a little bit more slow and have smart, intelligent players that kind of construct things a lot slower. I think that kind of works for the team right now, and I think we've been given this sort of momentum by Miles and Timber being able to play. That in games, if we want to, we can change it up so that side can be slower, that side can be quicker, and they can overlap and underlap with it either or. But obviously I think with Miles' real improvement in the forward areas in the last couple of months, I think you're going to see Timber in the more defensive areas recently, especially because he is a stern defender like we saw in this game. And it's one of them games where, especially against Real Madrid away, you need someone that's going to step up defensively and not all be brilliant on the ball. There's a certain level of bravery that you obviously need, and Arsenal need to use that bravery against PSG. But there's also certain levels we need people that can recover well, can tackle well, and can lock out brilliant players like Vinny Jr. on his day. In this game, if you look at the stats, Jurrien Timber on the ball, 9 out of 14 passes, created one chance. He obviously had that shot that went over from the free kick. Ultimately didn't have a lot of things going for him in them attacking areas. You look at even the successful dribbles, 0 out of 2, accurate long balls, 0 out of 1, and 5 passes into the final third. It was good, but not really something that was really effective in them forward areas. But when you look at the defensive areas of his game, you really see the benefits there. 1 clearance, 1 headed clearance, 8 defensive actions, and 4 recoveries. And not only that, he got himself into 11 ground duels as well, which being contested in duels is still an important thing, I think. You don't have to win them all, but just getting into them duels and the second ball players like Party can sweep up. And it's one of them games again where people really stood tall and saw Timber of how good he is. And I think it's one of them games as well, you kind of forget how young Jurrien Timber is. He is 1 day older than Gabriel Martinelli. He is younger than William Saliba in our team. He is experienced for his age, playing at Ajax at such a young age, but coming off that ACL injury and probably being about 50 to 60% fit, you could say, throughout this season, he has been exceptional. And as a defender, I don't think Arsenal have seen many good one-on-one defenders out wide, especially like this guy, in a long time. Maybe Ashley Cole is the last one if you want to put it into that metric. And I think when these games come around, the PSG one as well, Jurrien Timber is very important to play in these games. I think he was great against PSG in that first leg when he played in October and then he came off injured, but we need to keep this guy fit and he needs to be rested in the Premier League because he's vitally important for these one-on-one duels and contests that needs to happen. And if Arsenal are going to succeed in a defensive manner, it's going to be with Timber playing no matter what. And in my opinion, he's Arsenal's most important player right now for these Champions League games. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about Jurrien Timber. If you like this video, please go and watch my video yesterday about Kivior or my one about Marino. And if you want to catch any more other content, I'm on Forward of Football. We have our podcast every single week. Our new episode coming out today, so please go and watch that about my overall review of the Real Madrid game if you want to see it. because I haven't really spoke about it on here. But thank you guys as always. See you in the next one.